Up next, we have Lisa Green running for the position of Vice President.
Exactly 1 year ago today, in room 1136 at the MGM Grand Hotel in Detroit, famous musician Chris Cornell was pronounced dead after he committed suicide. Chris Cornell, the singer for Soundgarden and Audioslave, has spoken publicly about his struggles with mental illness. In the aftermath of Chris's death, his brother Peter called on his Facebook followers to participate in a push-up challenge to raise awareness and challenge stigma for depression, mental illness, and suicide. Within days of posting the challenge, Peter withdrew from social media in response to social backlash and bullying. On Facebook, Peter said it was sexy to be an addict, but that we don't talk about mental illness due to the stigma. This was a very public display of mental health stigma produced by our cultural systems of belief. About 1 in 5 Americans adults struggle with mental illness, making it incredibly likely that you know someone right now with mental health struggles who has no idea how to tell you. Statistics suggest mental disorders in college students are on the rise, with between a quarter and a third of college students meeting criteria for an anxiety or depressive illness during their college experience. Among students with ADA accommodations, those with mental health conditions are the most likely to drop out. Suicide is also the second most common cause of death for American college students, with about 1 in 10 making an active suicide plan. From the outside looking in, it makes more sense for a psychologically struggling person to reach out for help instead of creating a permanent solution to a temporary problem. However, due to social stigma, the tragic reality is people with mental health struggles are often silent in the face of these serious problems. A survey published in the Journal of Health and Social Behavior reported that 68% of Americans do not want someone with a mental illness marrying into their family, and 58% do not want people with mental illnesses in their workplaces. The general public tends to believe that the mentally ill are violent and unpredictable, despite overwhelming evidence that they are actually more likely to be victims of violence. The social stigma even prevents the mentally ill from seeking care. In 2014, only 41% of Americans with a mental health condition received mental health services within the year. How can we transform this narrative? Fortunately, you don't need a psychology degree to make a difference in the life of someone with mental illness. Iconic psychologist Abraham Maslow once said, "Every person who is kind, helpful, affectionate, and warm is a psychotherapeutic force, even though a small one." Consider your existing concepts and beliefs of the mentally ill. Challenge others' false beliefs and stigmatizing comments. Realize that each individual is different and their mental illness journey is unique. Accept your friends and family and encourage them to better themselves. Simply saying, "I'm here for you and I accept you unconditionally," can hold tremendous relief for someone who is struggling. But most of all, keep the conversation going and keep discussing personal experiences with compassion. You can be the reason that someone stands up in the face of social scrutiny and says, "I have a mental disorder, but my disorder does not have me." Thank you.
If an apple drops from a tree at a height of 20 meters and takes 5 seconds to hit the ground, finish the sentence, "I am."
I am PTK, and I am very confused by your question, Morgan.
What is one opportunity you have taken to become a better leader?
Honestly, the biggest opportunity that I have taken to become a better leader is probably becoming a tutor in the Writing Center at my college. I really, just got that on a whim, but it has really helped to develop me as a person because I see so many students with so many different perspectives, and I find them just amazing. And having to, being able to help them out on these journeys, being able to hold their hand while they struggle with these problems, thinking that they're not good at writing, they're not, a good student, they don't need it, and being able to motivate them, to push them upwards, to be able to say, "No, I can do it," is just, I think, one of the best things I've ever done.
What is a challenge that you have encountered and how did you overcome it?
That's a good one. I think I think there's a lot of challenges in anybody's life, to be honest, but probably one of my most significant challenges was really just being social, opening up to people. I struggled a lot with social anxiety. I was very self-conscious, very introverted, and I was very hesitant to open up to a lot of people, but I think through practicing and through just little by little trying to make friends, trying to help other people, trying to become more comfortable with being in these uncomfortable situations, I've slowly developed myself, and I think I'm at the point now where I'm probably more of an ambivert.
Lisa, what is one thing you would like to do to improve our region?
There's so many things. It's hard to pick one. I think one of the biggest things that I want to do to improve the region is just to open up a lot of these events. They're already so open, and that is one of our greatest strengths, and that's why we have to capitalize it, we have to maximize it, maximize the amount of fellowship that we have, and to be able to say, you know, we're more than just Michigan, we're more than just one of the best chapters in PTK, or one of the best regions in PTK. We are also one of the greatest families that ever existed in any college setting.
Thank you.